All right, slowly but surely I'm going to get it figured out. It's been a while since I've been able to go live. Had some settings all messed up there. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Good turnout for a little last-minute KingAir Turboprop stream. Wasn't expecting to see 90 of you sitting here ready to go check this airplane out. We are in the much-anticipated, for me anyway, analog version of the KingAir 350. We're going to talk all about it. I've got my thoughts. I've done 2 test flights in it right now. We'll talk about it. We got a little stream to do. We're doing a real-world route. Well, it used to be anyway, freight route that I used to fly back in the day. Now on this particular route I never flew the KingAir or any PT6. I was actually flying pistons on this route, but it's a short route, it's a fun route, should be pretty scenic. We got some weather in the Bay Area here in Hayward, California, headed up to Ukiah. Gonna be absolutely awesome up there. What is up, everybody in chat? It's been, man, I feel, when's the last time I streamed? It's been over a week, right? Aaron Hastings, what's up, man? Good to see a weird looking Airbus. Ailerons into the wind, what's up, man? Jeff L, Rotor Fib, MK, David Isaacs in the house, Fubar's in the house, Mateo Chewy, what's up, man? I see your question there. You don't know if you should get this one or not. You know what? I will tell you this right now. The Airfoil Labs is definitely superior in many aspects to this airplane. But for Microsoft right now, I mean, it's better than the default. I will say that. It is better than the default for sure. There are some little things that I think could really make it improved, one of which is a high-quality sound set. Maybe FT Sim or someone like that can get on that. But we're going to take a look at it today. I'll show you guys all about it. Hope everybody is well. I've been super busy at the house, man, doing all kinds of stuff, getting ready for certain things. And so I haven't been able to be live, but it's good to be live today. It's just going to be a chill stream. We're going to relax. We're going to fly some old VOR to VOR navigation. I say old, geez, VOR to VOR navigation. I don't even know if anybody does VOR stuff anymore, but it should be pretty fun. And actually, the weather in Ukiah at our destination is requiring us to do a localizer approach. So that's the last time I checked the METAR. But I think that's just that marine layer in the morning. It'll probably be burning off by the time we get there. So anyway, let's, whoa, when I zoom down my chat, it goes like this. And zooms that out. There we go. Duffman says, I'm not sure it's $40 more better, though. Duffman, I would agree with you there, man. I'm not sure if it's $40. Now, I had some points and a discount code because I have the KingAir, I'm sorry, not the KingAir, the Caravan mod. I have the Caravan version, and they give you a 10% discount or something like that, 20% discount. Basically, with that and my $2 of points I had, I got this airplane for $30 US. I think it's a little bit more than that, around 38 or something, full price. But let's fire it up and give it a shot, shall we? RC Flyer, what's going on, man? Member for 7 months, commercial pilot. What's up, dude? How's it been going? Dude, RC, thanks for the continued support, man. It's been, like I said, it's been crazy. I've been doing a lot of work around the house these last couple of days. I've had some time off, so I haven't been doing any real-world flying. I've actually got my beard growing in, but I've been doing some fencing stuff, been laying sod, getting my stuff ready for a tournament that's coming up. So fall tournament season here is upon us for fishing, so but yeah, we're going to get this thing fired up today. What's up, Matt Warren? Good to see you. Welcome back to the virtual skies. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Hope you guys are doing well. You guys' screenshots are looking absolutely awesome, too, in the Discord. Thanks for posting those. You guys keep posting. Somebody just posted some epic cloud updates. And I got to tell you, Sim Update 11, like the beta fixer, I don't know if they tweaked clouds or not, but the way that the fog is in and out of the valleys, I did the test flight out of here. I just basically took off and flew around and then Alt F forward, but it looked amazing. So I hope you guys are ready to get this thing fired up. Absolutely no one does VOR stuff, and if an RNAV procedure is available. I know, Lauren. Well, here's the thing. Back in this this destination, Ukiah doesn't have any RNAVs. I might have an RNAV now, actually. But I had to do it the old school way. Wow. And everyone's texting me and calling me when we go live, of course. All right. Here we are. Here it is, folks. Here is the analog KingAir 350. We're in one of my favorite tail numbers, 8227 Papa. This was actually a Beech 99 that I got the bulk of my PT6 time in was Beech 99s. I flew some C90s, and then I have like less than 10 hours in a KingAir 200. I never flew the 350 or the 350i. The 350 actually requires a type rating. There are some substantial differences with the 350, especially the 350i model. So I'm probably going to get some stuff wrong. It's been over a decade since I've even messed with the turboprop. So I'm probably forgetting a lot of stuff, but I see KingAir Pilot was in the chat. I'll be able to probably bounce some things off of you. And Phantom 320 is also a real-world KingAir 350 pilot, but I don't think he's here today. But when he picks this airplane up, I'm sure we'll have much more to say about it. But I got to tell you, as you know, very similar to the Caravan mod they did. The texturing is really good. A little bit dark here, a little bit dark here. I don't know if that's a Microsoft thing. It might even just be my monitor, honestly, because I feel like when I move my screen to the other monitor, it's brighter. Maybe this monitor is getting ready to go out. But they did a very good job with the cockpit texturing and the modeling and all that stuff. So I'm really, they really did a good job with that. I'm not disappointed in that at all. You can hide the yokes and stuff, and we'll fire it up. Now, the other thing is I don't know how to connect ground power, which is weird. So we're basically going to start this thing up. In real world, how this would operate is if you're doing a battery start, we'll turn the battery on, we'd go through our flows, and I forgot all my pre-check flows, but basically, let's see. So you turn the battery switch on, nav is on, beacon is off. Which one is that bound to? Nope. Beacon would be off, nav light is on, and then you would do something. I think you did like a standby test pump, you would test pump that way, then you would test pump that way, then you would turn that one on, and then you would come down here, make sure everything is set and off, and then you would check your HSI and all that stuff, clear the cautions and warnings. Matter of fact, we'd probably turn on the overhead lighting as well. Oh no, we need a generator for that. No, there we go, it's on. At least we got the floodlight anyway. And make sure all the other lights are set. Come down here. So idle, forward, cutoff is what we're looking for on the control stand here. Everything else looks good down here. That is in the off. Look at the environmentals. Cool. And then if we're really on it, we would actually turn on our avionics, and then we could program our flight plan, pick up our clearance and all that stuff, and then shut down the airplane, wait for our departure time. That way we're not draining battery. So I wish there was a way to... connect ground power. I mean, it's flashing at me. If I do this... Okay, so you just have to turn the switch on. Oh, that's cool. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. So I thought you'd have to call for ground power. If you turn the ground power switch on, it automatically hooks up, which is cool. So now, instead of doing the battery, turn it on, turn the AVX on, get your clearance, and turn everything off so you don't drain the batteries before start, you could just sit here on ground power and rinky-dink around on the airplane. Now, I don't know how to open the doors. I don't know if it's possible to open the doors. Then, of course, you do your pre-flight, check all your lights, open the cowlings, make sure you pull the engine plugs out. This is actually an improper shutdown here. These should be feathered. I think that's just when the airplane starts up by default. They're flat pitch, but these props should be feathered here. The PT6 free floating turbine, one of my favorite, actually not one of, my favorite turboprop is the PT6. So cool, so reliable. But yeah, make sure you pull the engine plugs out. If you try to start it with those on, you will hot start and you will damage the engine. Ask me how I know. Although I never damaged the engine, I did abort, but yeah, it's not a good thing. Come around here, you would check the tail, everything, make sure all of the fins are looking good. Fins. There's a technical term for this. KingAir pilot, what are these called again? What are these called again? I know there's a technical term. I remember it from ground school. I just don't remember what they are now. But yeah, you check your T-tail, come around here, look at your brakes, all the good stuff, check your flaps. Make sure your wing lockers are closed. So these actually open up right here. These latches open up. You can make sure there's any cargo in there or not. But when we did freight operations, we didn't put any cargo in here. It was like a last resort because guys would forget to latch them and then they would fly off. So they just said, hey, no more using the wing lockers because you guys aren't mature enough to know how to do it. So anyway, that would be your pre-flight. Walk back in there. Ventral fins? I think that sounds right, Javier. Ventral fins? Something like that. It's something. There's a technical term. They're not just fins, like I said. But I have it on good authority. They're called thingies. Exactly, Aaron. Thingies. Dorsal fin. No, not dorsal. Ventral sounds... Ventral strakes, maybe? I don't know. Love seeing the steam gauge, a PT sync props. Yes, sir, indeed. Digital Mark, what's up, man? We do have a prop sync switch here, which is awesome. I think we had a prop sync on one of our airplanes, and it was broken. Well, like, it didn't really work because the prop sync... Mechanically, if you look at it, it's pretty cool how it works, but you're supposed to always disengage the prop sync before manipulating the prop levers, and guys would forget, and then it would like work sometimes, and it wouldn't really work, so they ended up just deferring it, MELing it, and then they never fixed it. So prop sync is a luxury. On this 350i, obviously, we have one nice and neat here. But let's call a fuel truck over here. I do have GSX out there. I don't think they're going to do anything to us, but we do need some gas on board because I looked at our tanks over here, and we are pretty low, actually. Yeah, we're only at 150, 300 pounds. And then we can test our aux tanks, which are even less than that. So... correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the aux tanks, we call them NAC tanks. They're the nacelle tanks, right? Or is that in the mic getting cross-referenced from a Beech 99? Either way, but you have two sets of tanks out there, and you got your main, and then you got your auxiliary tanks you can look at. It's all in pounds times 100. So let's call our fuel truck up before we do anything else, and then we're going to set up our airplane. Like anything turboprop, piston, GA style flying, always set up your flight on the ground before starting engines. If you can, like with the ground power, always set everything up before you start the engines. Number one, it's how you save money. So if you're working for somebody you're flying his airplane around, you want to save fuel, right? You want to save him money. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. So get all the stuff you can get done before starting engines. That way, when you go to fire up, clear prop, starting 1, starting 2, and you're good to go. You start up, taxi out, and you look like a professional. You don't have to sit there and do a bunch of checks with your engines running on the ramp. There's 3 pet peeves of me. Let me get fueling over here. Request refueling. Okay, so he's going to come over here. He's going to pump some gas. 3 pet peeves I have for watching people fly turboprops in the sim, on YouTube, in real life even. 2 of them you don't really do in real life unless you're just a bad pilot. But number 1, sitting there on the ramp with your engines running while you file a flight plan. That's number 1 pet peeve. Number 2 pet peeve, before starting engine, turning on the auto ignitions. Okay, let's clear something up right here. On this particular model, now this stems from some older Beech 99s, you had to use ignition and then you had a start switch. But as Beechcraft got more and more fancy, we had ignition and start in the same one. I'm going to come right back to that. We need, how much fuel do we need before we get out of here? We need, according to SimBrief, 1,700 pounds. That actually sounds pretty close. So we'll do 1,800 pounds like that. He's going to start pumping gas. But basically, the ignition and engine start switches are right here. When you start engines, you do not need to turn these on. It's not how you do it. You're doing the same thing twice. So ignition and start, you go ahead and flip this, and then they start up. These would only be used for takeoff and landing and any other condition that would permit auto ignition to be armed. So that's pet peeve number 2. Again, that some of the old Beechcraft, you had only ignition, you only had starters here, so you had to do ignition and then start, but then they got smart and put it on the same switch. So you only need one of these. Don't do 2 of those. The third and final pet peeve is taxiing around. Well, it's kind of hard to simulate in the sim. Taxiing around in idle and not in beta, and then that kind of goes hand in hand with high idle and low idle. 99% of your flying is right here in low idle. Rarely, if ever, are you going to use high idle. I even talked to Phantom 320 who flew the 350. He said he only used high idle probably less than 5 times, sometimes in high density altitude situations or when performance would require a high idle scenario. You need to operate in low idle. This airplane operates in low idle just fine. There are a few outlier scenarios which will require you to go to high idle. One of them is actually engine start off a battery, which we're going to do today, but that's pet peeve number 3 is keep this in low idle unless you need to go to high idle for some other outlier reason. All right. Now that I got the pet peeves out of the way, the fueling is done, let's take a look at our flight plan today. So we are going to take off out of Hayward, California, and there's no departure procedure, believe it or not. So what we used to do in real life when we took off IFR, we take off runway 28 left or 28 right, depending on your weight. We'll probably go off 28 left today, and we would do a left 270, essentially. Jeff L, missionary bush pilot and high idle. That's yes, he's in those mountains. That's exactly right. That is one of those not outlier scenarios for him because that's his normal base of operation. But in the 48 states, the 50 states even, you're rarely going to need high idle for anything else. And here's the thing, it's an idle, right? So you don't get more power at high idle because it's only adjusting your idle percentage. So I forget what the numbers are, but let's say you have low idle is at 30% N1, high idle might be at 40% N1. Those numbers are totally wrong, but I'm just giving you an idea. So it doesn't matter top end. It doesn't give you more performance top end. The only more performance that you're going to get is in the idle position, so maybe for taxiing or short field landings, because if you go into reverse in high idle, you're actually going to get more reverse thrust than you do in low idle. That's another outlier scenario. So And Jeff, it reduces spool up time. Correct. Yeah. So depending on the model of the PT6 that you have, they could be a little bit laggy. But in general, the PT6 is a pretty snappy engine. I mean, you got some of that turbine lag, but it's not terrible. And the bigger the engine gets, I think it gets a little bit greater. Like I said, I've never flown the 350. These motors I forget what the shaft horsepower is on the 350, but it's more than anything that I've flown. I think the 200 was like, I don't know, maybe like a couple hundred horsepower or less per side. But yeah, anyway. Left 270 off departure, so we can set our heading to 285. So we'll set runway heading. You know what? Let's just say we'll leave it at 360. Actually, we'll leave our heading at 360 because we're going to take off 28 and we're going to make a left turn to 360, go northbound. Our route of flight, however, is going to take us directly to, if I pull it up here from here, there, KingAir pilot has the idle numbers, 58 to 62%, and high idle is 70% N1. There you go. So there is a significant jump, 62 to 70%. Oakland is our first waypoint. So let's go low en route here. Let's close this off. And let's get this out of here. I don't need you. So our first waypoint is Oakland VOR, which is going to be 116.8. So we'll dial in 16.8 in our nav1 radio. We'll dial that up, put him on top. 16.8. Then you could see our HSI. We're actually picking it up on the ground, which is cool. So let's go ahead and spin that. Let's just see what the direct to is right now on the ground. Looks like it's going to be about 290-ish. 291 course direct to Oakland, so that's dialed in. After Oakland, we're going direct to the Echo November India VOR, which is Mendocino, Ukiah, which is 112.3. Let's put that in the standby, 112.3 there. And let's also put it in the active number 2. That way we have it ready to go should we start picking it up on number 2. And we can also put 16.8 in the standby in case our nav 1 fails. We got nav 2 ready to go. So we've got Oakland VOR, which we're going to take off. We'll fly our left 270, and then we'll essentially go direct to Oakland. And then we're going to track outbound on the Oakland VOR. Looks like here it's pretty much a direct out of there. Hopefully we'll pick up Mendocino before then. It doesn't actually give me a radial. That's kind of interesting. But we'll track directly to Oakland, and then we'll figure it out from there. It's probably going to be about the 330-ish, maybe 320. We should be picking up Mendocino once we get close to Oakland VOR anyway. So that is set. We got our nav radio set. We can put that away. Let's hit the magic barrel ref key, 3009er. Our cruise altitude today is going to be 10,000 feet. 10,000 is set. Let's come down here to our pressurization panel. Now, technically, you don't even have to change this, I believe, right? Because we're staying lower than 10,000. But we can put aircraft altitude. We're going to come all the way back. Can I hold it? Kind of slow there. So, yeah, it looks like 17, 19, 15, 4... 14, 30. We're basically going to zero it out. So we're going to leave it all the way off because we're going up 10,000. We do not need to pressurize the cabin today. That is set. Our squawk code, we're going to squawk VFR. Whoops. Oh, no, that's ADF. That's going to be up here. Our squawk code today is going to be 1200, which it is set. It's on altitude. We could actually put it on standby here at the ramp. 1200 is set. 10,000 is set, and now we're pretty much ready to start engines. What's up, Meekin? No GPS? Awesome. Yeah, no GPS today, man. Come on. That's another thing. It's like, why would you get the analog KingAir just to put a fancy GPS in it? I don't know. We do have our fuel on board. It is verified. Look at that. We got fuel on board. All these circuit breakers are modeled, which is pretty nice. So you could use this. I haven't got into the system simulation yet, but you could theoretically use it for some training, it looks like. All right, everything is set up here on our GPS. Let's go ahead and disconnect external power now. And let's go ahead and turn off the master switch. And we're going to do a battery start. And before we do that, we're going to go ahead and turn off the batteries. And then I'm going to come up here. We're going to get rid of GSX because we're not going to do a pushback or anything like that. So let's get rid of the GSX, folks. And by doing that, I can just do a restart that, and they'll get rid of them. All right, so theoretically, yes, we could do a GPU start. Why do we still have a hose out there? Oh, well. We could do a GPU start, but a battery start is more fun to do. It sounds cooler, and it's more fun. So this is one of those scenarios where we will use the high idle, and I'll talk you through it as we go. But essentially, when you're doing battery-only operations here, you want to make sure that you're pretty snappy and you're not sitting there draining the battery, because then you could really screw up your day. So here we go. Battery is going to come on. Nav light is on. Let's go ahead and go beacon light on, which is that switch for me. We'll clear the master, clear the caution. We're idle forward cutoff. Coming up to the top here, why does it say we still have that? We have juice. Yes, we have juice, 24 volts. That looks good. Let's go ahead and start engine number 2 first. So we're going to come down here, ignition and start only, and engage. Clear. So we're looking for stable above 12% turbine. You can hear the igniter going off. There's 12%. Low idle. That's, I think, a light off sound. We got ITT rise. Monitor for an over temp. ITT rollback. Here comes 50%. Starter off. I'm trying to get the sound up for you guys here. It's very quiet, isn't it? Inverter on, generator reset and on. Generator light is out. Come back to the overhead. Right generator, we're looking good. Are we getting still external power? We are. Why are we getting external power? Okay, so that's not necessarily correct. So right generator is online and providing power. So now to start, what we're going to do, this is called a cross generator start. So we're going to start number 1 off of the number 2 generator. And you can see here down by on the warning panel, this wouldn't be flashing. I don't know why that's flashing at us. Our left DC gen is off, but our right generator is online. So to start, we're going to require a lot of extra juice from this generator. So this is one of those scenarios where we are going to go into high idle. You see the change in fuel flow. You see the change in torque. And a little change in ITT. So now we're stable at high idle, which is going to give us enough juice to turn number 1. So same scenario as before. Let's go ahead and clear prop. And a left ignition. NG's on the rise. Looking for stable above 12. And when you go to introduce fuel, we're only going to go to low idle on the left engine. There's 12%. Introduce fuel. There's a shotgun sound light off. That's absolutely terrible. ITT rise. Now this is a little bit untimed, I think. This would be a little bit faster. We got an ITT rollback. Here comes 50%. Starter off. We're going to go inverter left on, generator 1, reset and on, and then we're going to bring number 2 back to low idle. With our engine started, we'll go avionics power on. We'll go ahead and close the doors. I don't know why that external power is flickering at us there. Remember, you're checking all your bugs now, making sure you get no flags. We got a glide slope flag there. That's normal, I guess, on this one. That everything looks good there. We are in nav, no GPS to tune. Let's come over to our environmentals. We're going to go environmental off for now. That looks good. Let's come down here. We'll go oxygen. Rudder boost. Electric trim is on. Auto feather is off. That is normal. Prop pitch in white. That is good. We'll get the tail floodlight on because it looks cool. I'm not sure where we have an external power light, but there pretty much is our after starts, and we are looking good. So now we're going to go ahead and taxi out. But yeah, the sound set, maybe you guys are getting... the external power light flashes when power is connected but not turned on. How do I disconnect it? That is the question. So it is supposed to flash. I got you. Thank you, KingAir pilot. What value would be an overtempo? It seems like it always spikes above the red line. I'd have to. I'll look it up in the manual. But so there is a start. So can you see it? So there's 900C. I believe that's 1000C, and there's a start. So as long as you stay below start ITT, you're within limits. This red line is for anything other than start. So what's that? 825. Right about 825C or 8. I've got the limitations over here on my PFD or PDF. But basically, the red line is for anything other than start. Your starter limitation is right there. So we were within limits. It spikes above red line. That is normal operation. That is normal operation for start. You've seen that happen. Everything else looks good. The cable complaint is giving me anxiety. Exactly. So it looks like it's gone. But anyway, we're ready to go. We're going to taxi out to 28 right, I believe is what we said, right? Let's go ahead and pull up our chart here. Bring this over on this side. 10-9 page. So our 28 left is where we're going to taxi out via Alpha. 28 left via Alpha. Where's my push to talk? Done. Apply. And we're Amflight 357. Hayward traffic, Amflight 357, Beach, KingAir 350, taxiing to 28 left via Alpha, Hayward. All right, brakes released. Taxi light is on, right? It is on, already got it. And we'll taxi out towards the run-up area. Let's see if I got moving. Yes, it's still flashing, but... So now here's the hard part. In real life, and I think not Milviz, excuse me. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening with our power? Okay. In real life, you would lift these power levers up and put them into the ground fine, and you could taxi a lot easier. Taxiing around and forward thrust is you're just gonna start running away. But there's no real good way to simulate that, I don't think. I don't know how to bind it if you can, but see if I can just creep these into ground fine. Well, now we're in reverse. I think it's just a limitation within the simulator. Airfoil Labs did this right. So taxiing this airplane around is much more difficult than the real thing because you just can't do it properly. You can't use the beta power to taxi the airplane. Micah says, check your avionics bus switch on your controller. If you have them, you shouldn't see any flags on your AI HSI. Let me... That's what I thought. I'm not supposed to see any bugs, but I've got those two flags and these flags here because we don't have anything in nav 2. If I go like this, there we go, gets rid of those flags. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bug, Micah Messer. I don't think you would see these flags here unless you were tuned into a glide slope or an ILS. So this is the run-up pad over here. I've been over here many times. Idle on the Blacksquare is already beta. Oh, beta. Okay, so makes sense. Inverters are on. These flags don't go away. I don't know why. I think it's a bug. And here's the other bug too, is the avionics master switch doesn't work properly. You have to actually bind avionics master and turn it on. It doesn't really turn on with the switch in the cockpit, at least for me. So I had to deal with that earlier too. So we'll actually cut across. We'll take this #1 run-up spot. This is actually exactly how it is in real life. This is default airport too. But we would always come over here, and this is where we would do our run-ups. We're not going to do a full run-up for sake of time. We're just going to do an auto feather check. We'll go ahead and stop here. We'll set the brake. Kill the taxi light. Avionics master works fine for you, Raphael. Interesting. So like, because watch this. So like, I'll turn this off. Oh no, it works now. But if I don't have my controller bound, actually recycling that got rid of the external power. Okay, recycling the avionics got rid of the external power. But if I don't have it bound to my hardware, I don't get all my stuff on. So I don't know if it's maybe a conflicting binding somewhere, but I'm still getting these glide slope flags. So I don't know what's up with that. That is a binding you have set on avionics off. The button is working correctly. Because see, look, if I do this, let me do it. Which one? This one here. I don't want to mess with it now. Everything seems to be working. We're not going to mess with it now, but yeah, when I just turn the battery on and I don't have the avionics master bound, I don't get any stuff that should be on the battery bus. So unless I have some other conflicting binding, which I don't think so because I started with a new profile. But either way, I got the workaround for me was to just bind avionics master on and then turn this switch on too. So either way. All right, here we go. Let's do basically a small run up. So I think it's right about 17% torque, something like that. Whoa, come back a little bit. So we're going to go auto feather test. We're going to increase power till the auto feather lights illuminate. About 1600 RPM, I guess. All right, so auto feather. We've got our auto feather lights illuminated. Let's go ahead and bring back the left engine. Once it falls below, auto feather for number 2 goes out, and number 1 should feather. There it goes. Bring it back up. So that's cool that that's properly simulated. Coming up to about 1500. Auto feather 2 is on, so now we're going to check number 2. Bring the second engine back. Auto feather for 1 goes out. This is still armed, and feather. There it goes. Feathers. Cool. Bring it back up. You could check your you would check your loads. You'd load up your engine anti-ice and all that stuff. Check your suction over there, which I can see it's all in the green. Everything looks good, and we'll go ahead and do auto feather off. Now in real life, that's a push to hold switch. Come back to idle. Kill the caution. Trims are set. 1, 2, and 3. Everything else looks good. No flaps needed for departure. All right, let's go ahead and head over to 28 left. Beautiful. Dougal's in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. So there's a couple other checks you would do in the run-up as well, like the governor stop and all that, and I haven't had enough time. I actually just got this installed this morning. I haven't had enough time to go through and test everything to see if it's modeled. I would assume it's modeled with everything else that they've got simulated here. I would assume that they did it, but yeah, there's a couple of checks we could do. You got your governor test and the ground idle stop and all that. So we're going to skip that today. We just want to make sure the auto feather works. That's probably one of the most important features of this airplane. If the auto feather stops working and you lose an engine, like below 90 knots, good night. So let's take a quick look at our final. Final looks clear. Hayward traffic, AM flight 357 departing 28 left. We're going to do a left 270 northbound direct to Oakland, Hayward traffic. All right, so let's light it up. We'll turn them all on just because it looks cool. And what is it, the hot 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those all come on. Ignition goes into the arm, and auto feather is armed. Actuators can stay main. Take a look down here. Everything else looks good. Prop pitch because we're, I guess... Yeah, that looks good. I guess that's normal. Now, the one thing that I don't know if it's really correct is the ITT simulation seems awfully stagnant. What I mean by that is the ITT gauge is up here. But we'll probably be torque limited anyway. All right, everything is good here. 1, 2, 3, and environmental is on. We don't need anything else on. We actually probably could turn the aft blower on. That is good. All right, are you guys ready for departure? Here we go. There's no Toga buttons on this thing, so we're just going to be real careful on the torque. Get those props up. Release the brakes. Now smooth, prompt acceleration of the power levers. Don't exceed your torque limit right there. Come back a little bit. So our ITT I think would be higher. Rotate. I got no pitch up. Over. I got no pitch up. Houston, we have a problem. Trim, 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 trim. I got no pitch up. What is up with that? Why is my trim all the way full down? Why was my trim nose down? Jeez. Alright, let's fly the airplane. Left 270 to 360. 90. Let's go ahead and bring the prop back a little bit. I think 140 is VY in this airplane, so really powerful. The flight model, I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it. There's 140. Let's go ahead and lower the nose a little bit. Keep that left turn coming. So instead of going right to 360, let's continue our left turn and intercept the Oakland 2, which will come about 330 on the heading. Lower the nose a little bit there. Our torque's falling off. It's good to see that. Bump it back up about 90%. Keep coming left. Nice breakout. Did not know you did tree trimming as a part-time gig. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. Whoa. Yeah, it seems very jumpy. I don't know if we're in a lot of turbulence or what. All right, so we're going to continue our left turn all the way until we are direct to Oakland, which looks like it's going to be about the 290, so we'll keep coming around. I'm looking down here for my HSI. Let's go ahead and lower the nose a little bit. Let's go for about 160 knots. Right there's a nice little intercept heading. We're pretty close to the VOR, so now we're going to come back to 80%. What's it, 80 and 17? Nice cruise climb power. Came back a little bit far there. Bump it back up to 80. Got our heading bugs synced up. Now we're looking good. All right, we're 5.9, 6 climbing 10. We're trimmed out. This must be bumpy today. Must be bumpy today because we were getting absolutely rocked or something here. We're 1.2 from the VOR, which is pretty close. So we're just going to fly our heading. It actually looks like we're getting ready to pick up number 2. I'm going to switch over to Mendocino real quick, see if we can actually pick it up, which we can. So there's Mendocino VOR. So let's go ahead and set up a direct to VOR2. And this is why we set it up on the ground, right? We don't have to do any fiddling with radios. We can just flip the switch and we're navving. So we just went over Oakland. Now we're going direct to Mendocino, which is about the 313. It's direct to. We're looking good. I'm going to get rid of that. Now, depending on your SOP, you would shut off your auto feather when you're either in like a cruise climb or 10,000 feet. We're going to use 10,000 feet for this one. The reason why you would shut off your auto feather when you get up to altitude is because if your engine fails, maybe you want to restart it. So you don't need to go right in. Maybe you want to do a windmill start, so you don't want it to auto feather right away. Looks like we got a little bit of roll. Let's get a little bit of roll in there. We're 28 miles away. 8.8 for 10,000. 80, 17, everything looks good here. T's and P's are all in the green. There's our altitude alert, 1,000 to go. Check. Sound comparison, Airfoil Labs, no doubt about it. Airfoil Labs sounds are 100 times better. I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think, is this still just the default sound pack for the analog KingAir? Airfoil Labs sounds are amazing. Truly, truly are. Now, somebody, if you're familiar, I believe the 350 has a quiet cruise setting, which is like way low, which we're going to try. I don't remember what the numbers are, but I think it's like 1,500 RPM and like 70 and 1,500. Someone will have to look it up. I believe it's called a quiet cruise. So this airplane is extremely powerful. So as you level off here, be ready to monitor your airspeed and your torque because you don't want it to shoot above the red line. There's 10,000 feet. We're leveling nicely here. I'm going to get it trimmed out. We'll hand it over to the autopilot. That way I can actually look at the chat a little bit more trim here. A little bit more trim. As it accelerates, it wants to climb, so that's pretty good. All right, that's close enough for me. Let's come down here. We're going to go yaw damper, autopilot, nav, out. So flight director nav, out, autopilot is on. We're navving direct to. A little bit of a left turn here. You can see our speed shooting up. We're level here. Let's go ahead. Ignition off. Auto feather is off. We'll get our landing lights, taxi lights, ice lights, recog lights. Tail lights can come off. 1,600 RPM is quiet cruise. That's the master caution from the auto feather. That's normal. We'll clear that. Auto feather is off, correctly simulated. Let's go ahead and bring it back to 70. And let's go ahead and bring it back to 1,600 RPM. $1,670 torque is set. We'll go prop sync on. Everything is good. Cabin is nice and cool. How's our fuel looking? Fuel is good. Fuel flows are good. And we are navving, folks. And just like, excuse me. And just like that, we have a KingAir 350 departure. 1,600 RPM, I said it? All right, cool, ailerons, I got it. Green peas. There you go, Listerman. Sorry, guys, I was totally gone on the chat there for a little bit. But as you can imagine, these airplanes are a very high workload. This is a single pilot airplane as well. But, you know, flying it single pilot in the sim is also a high workload on yourself. So that's why I'm a little bit off on the chat there. But we're back nice and calm now. Everything is looking good. And we're tracking too. We got 18.5. Oh, excuse me. We've got 80 miles to go with 18 minutes to Mendocino VOR, and we'll have to look at the weather. We'll get an update on our weather and stuff once we get there. You know what else we forgot to do is forgot to put that on altitude. So altitude is squawk altitude 1200. We're looking good. But these are the views right here. This view, actually this view right here, this is the view that I absolutely fell in love with when I was my first turboprop. My very first turboprop flight was a Beech 99. Whether it's a 99, KingAir 200, or a C90, this view is all pretty much the same. And there was something about this view that I just fell in love with, and I could not. It stuck with me forever. And it something to do with this big PT6 just hanging out here on the front of the wing. I don't know. Something about this just looks so cool, and it triggered my inner aviation passion. And I mean, there would be days where like it's 4 o'clock in the morning and it's cold as hell, and it just everything is not going well. But I remember looking out the window and seeing this and be like, that's still pretty sick. I don't know. It's just the fact that I got paid to look at this view and fly this airplane. So it recaptures that for sure. I'd like to get a livery. I'd like to get an Ameriflight livery. That's one thing that kind of drives me nuts about this Blacksquare mod is it says you can use default liveries, but you have to you have to have a degree in coding to figure out how to get it to work. At least I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get default KingAir liveries to work with it. You got to do some text edits and stuff, which really sucks because there's some pretty cool default liveries out there already. But FTSim has a KingAir sound pack. Duffman, I will look into that this week, and we'll give it another go, because the sound pack is just not immersive at all for me. And it's, you know, I think it's maybe because I'm spoiled, whether it be from the airfoil labs or even just, you know, knowing what the airplane sounds like in real life, and it just YouTube videos of a startup. The best sound in the world, is the sound of a PT6 light off, and what this has is not it. The best sound in the world is a PT6 light off, and I was very disappointed when I heard this one. It sounded like somebody fired a suppressed 300 blackout or something when the fuel gets ignited. So, but that's just the default sound pack. That's not a Blacksquare thing. That's just the default sound pack. So I will look out those FTSim. I will check them out for sure. Tony says, now we can say when newbies ask on the chat that you are secretly an Aerosource pilot. Oh man, those videos of those Aerosource guys clipping the fence line, unreal. I don't know what happened there. I guess my trim ran all the way off. So this is this blue light that came on over here. This is a cabin temperature, less than 50 degrees, which is interesting. Let's do warm auto. No, let's do auto, and let's do increase temp. We'll see if that takes care of it. There we go. Took care of it. So warm it up a little bit in the back for them. But we're looking good now. It sounds better, but never heard a real PT6 though. Oh yeah, just YouTube it, man. I actually have. I wonder if I have some videos on my, because I remember I used to. That was my thing. I would always try to take a video of the startup of the PT6. Let me look here. I don't think I have any on my current drive. On my HDD that I took out of my computer, I had all of my stuff, like all my freight flying pictures and videos. I've got a Beach 99. Nope, that's not it. I don't really have any on here. I'll have to look them up. I did take a. What's this? Whoa. Oh, that was a Chieftain takeoff. That's not it. I wonder if I could play this. I got an idea. A 300 blackout. Now there's a caliber. I help ballistic AE calibrate. Really? Aileron's in a win for real? That's awesome, man. I love the little 300 blackout, man. Suppress is just, it's fun. It's really, really fun. I actually saw something on YouTube the other day. I believe it was Demo Ranch. It was like was it a 500 blackout? It was a different blackout that's like, I hadn't seen it before. Looked pretty neat as well. T's and P's check. Everything is in the green. We're 625. About 70% on the torque, 1600 RPM. Props are synced. Here is your prop sync right here. As long as these are stable, that means your props are synced, which is good. Fuel flow, we're doing about 320. This is 350 there in the middle, so we're doing 320 a side, so 640 pounds an hour, which we've got, probably about 20 minutes of flying time left, 56 miles out. We'll probably have to start looking at our localizer approach into Ukiah. Matter of fact, let's pull the weather right now. Migs, did you hear that? Yeah, it was a video I made for just myself a while back flying for cargo. I want to see if I can find my KingAir video, and I'll play it for you guys. Or my Beach 99 video anyway. I think I have that one. I think we're too far out for Ukiah. Yeah, we can't pull that yet, so we'll put that away for now. You've got a suppressed 300 blackout SBR Crimson Ghost? Oh yeah. Let me see here. I'm gonna go to this screen. I'll probably get a copyright strike, even though it's my own video, but that's fine. Well, I think I used someone else's, or some like an actual soundtrack. It's alright though. If we demonetize this one, you guys will still like the video, right? Make sure you like the video if you haven't already, because this video that I will play is probably going to demonetize this one. I know I have it on here somewhere. You built it for the hogs down here in Florida, but haven't had a chance to go on a hunt yet? Crimson Ghost, just come up to my house, man. Just come up to my house. Go hog hunting anytime you want, dude. Aha! I found the video. So I'm going to go here. Here. Pause you. Let's go full screen. And let me switch this so you guys can actually see the video. There we go. All right. I'm going to mute the sim for a second so we can watch this video.
And attention all aircraft. Currently we have wind shear over 45 B7 tower, runway 13 right, clear to land. Wind shear lead 209, runway 240, wind speed, and contact with Commander.
Connecting 401 left, clear takeoff, airport update.
Turn 2, baby. A little loud, isn't it? There's ignition and start. Low idle. ITT rise. There's the Beechcraft gauge. Now, see, we didn't have a start ITT. We just had a single ITT for this engine. That's an old radar. Never really worked. Who be that? This is a 99 coming in at pretty much beta. Hear that whine, that real high-pitched whine? I think 8227 pops in it. That was one. I think this is it. Nope, that has a cargo pod. Was that George Clooney? I don't know. I don't know who that was. There's a breakout, real world breakout. .650 ITT, 1100 on the torque, 1900 RPM. Looks like Microsoft. There's an old dirty 99 right there. I believe that's a 90, a C90. See how much cleaner the cowling is? That's a 99. I think. FPS is pretty bad though. That's 1.3 right in DFW. That's all she wrote. And there you go. Oh, actually I clicked on Black Box stream. All right, how do we get the sounds back on? So there you go. That is that's some real beach flying right there for you. You never saw a clean 99 in your career, Crimson Ghost. I haven't either, man. I've never seen a clean one either. My daughter works for Alpine Air in Utah, where they've been converting a bunch of old 99s to cargo. Nice, Tony Johns. Nice. Yeah, the 99 is a hell of a cargo airplane. You know, unpressurized. So the difference between a Beech 99 and say like a KingAir 200, it's pretty comparable to the 200. The C90 is a little bit shorter than the Beech 99, but the 99 is unpressurized, so you lose the pressurization. You don't have quite as powerful engines. Depending on the engine model, you'll have a 3-blade prop where the 200 will have a 4-blade. So slightly different propeller layout, configuration. But overall, a pretty similar operation. You know, once you fly one PT6, you've pretty much got the idea for all PT6s. And that's why I said the Blacksquare Caravan is if you're just, you know, a jet flyer, maybe you just fly the Airbus or the 7.3, but you want to get into some turboprop stuff, get the Caravan first because it's a single engine PT6, low horsepower. but it functions the same as all PT6s. That's what's great about them. Whether the power is super high, 1,700 horsepower or 600 horsepower, they function the same, and you can really get a handle on it with the Caravan, and then you can step into the KingAir or whatever it may be. So, Migs, dude, thank you so much for the $5 Canadian remonetize. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, that definitely demonetized this stream, but that's all right. I'm doing it for you guys anyway. I'm just glad y'all are hanging out with me this Thursday afternoon here, flying some turboprop, some GA stuff. We don't do it hardly enough on this channel, but I appreciate your support, Migs. Appreciate you, man. 13 right, a.k.a. the prop runway. Exactly, Lauren. Yeah, we land on 13 right, and then we taxi over to UPS. So going into DFW, we flew for mostly UPS. We did some DHL stuff out of DFW, but mostly UPS. The DHL stuff sucked because you had to go all the way across DFW airport. So you would taxi for 45 minutes. Man, look at these views coming up here. Can someone pull a Ukiah weather for me? I think Ukiah is right off the front here. So let's go ahead and start looking at the Ukiah itself. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. No. Go back. Cancel. Let's go back over here. Let's go all the way to our destination of Ukiah. We might set up for the Loke anyway. Endocino, 23 miles to Ukiah, I think is right over here. It looks like it's cleared up for me, though. We might be able to just go straight in. So we can take the 021. I'm going to set my heading bug to 021 just to verify myself here. Once we hit the VOR. If we pick up the airport prior, we'll just go direct to. But we probably need to start down. Let's go ahead and start a descent down to about 7... Let's do 6,000. We're going to set 6,000 here, and we're going to go prop sync off for now. 6,000 is set, and I'm going to just do a alt select on IAS. So altitude is armed, and I'm going to bring the torque back a little bit here. Using vertical speed mode is a little bit jumpy. So I'm going to just use the IAS hold, so you can see here, flight director nav, arm, altitude, and the autopilot is still engaged. So as I bring the torque back, the airplane is going to pitch to maintain our same speed of 220 knots, which also helps you with your computations. I'm going to bring the power back to about 40% torque here. Count comes out to be about 1,000 feet per minute there in the descent rate, maybe 1,200. So actually, Ukiah, I think, is right over there. But we're looking good. Look at these views, man. And this looks so real because this is the same time of day that I would fly this route. I brought the sim back a couple hours, so this is exactly what it looked like. Go get some donuts. Ooh, we hit a little bit of wind there. Also, with your love for the PT6, any chance to see your favorite pilot jump in the Kodiak? Duffman, I've been eyeing that airplane so long, man. Maybe, man. It's been itching. I've been itching to pick it up. Hello, friend. Getting ready here for some A350 certification flights for Azul. Nice, Igor. Follow us this Saturday. VCP Rec to LIS. Igor, that's awesome, man. Aileron says, once you qualified and went to twins at corporate level, did you ever just sit back one day and think, damn, this is the life? Yes. You know what Aileron's actually not even like corporate life. My first real job. Well, I say real job. I mean, I did some corporate stuff on the side initially, but when I got hired by Ameriflight Cargo, which was my first 135 carrier. So if you guys remember, I did some 91 citation stuff, which was awesome. It was really cool. I believe this is Ukiah right over here. But once I got hired by my first 135 carrier, it felt like I went from practice mode to just like career mode set in. Like I can just relax now. So like I've made it. I'm at an actual airline. I've got like a stable base below me now. Like when you're an instructor, specifically when you're an instructor, you go out to the practice area and you do the same thing over and over every day, day in, day out. It's like practicing for a game but never getting to play in it. The first time I fired up my Piper Chieftain, the ceilings were super low. It was dark and cloudy outside, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm actually going to go flying in this? And then I look over and the guy on my left is starting up his engines. The guy on my right is starting up his engines. I'm like, all right, I guess this is what I do. It's go time. Fire them up, and there you go. And it's like, that's when it clicked for me. I was like, all right, I am a professional pilot now, and I get paid to complete these missions. So that's when it really first set in. But now ailerons into the wind, like in the Airbus, I said it the other day. I'm going to go into heading mode because I can see Ukiah. I said it the other day, pushing back from the terminal. I was like, I still love this job, man. Like, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the industry right now, contract negotiations and all kinds of stuff happening. But at the end of the day, you know, pushing back from the terminal, the sun was setting. I was like, I still love this job, man. We complain and moan all the time because that's what pilots do. But still love it. Still love the job, man. All right, let's bump up the sound. Let's go ahead and get our auto ignition armed. We'll get our auto feather armed as we go below 10,000. We'll get all of our lights on. Ukiah is off the nose. And I believe she's right there. Yeah, so we're going to be a little bit high. You guys had the wind. Winds are calm, so I would normally like to do a straight in here. Let's go ahead and go autopilot off. Oh, wait, before I do that, we got to do flight recorder. Good afternoon, Santiago. Appreciate you, man. Let me get this on, and I actually have track IR on. Let's go ahead and turn off the autopilot right now. Deet, deet. Flight recorder is up and ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and bring the power back. This is the best part about flying the KingAir. Do that. We'll go props full forward. Oop, do them at the same time. Now we're going to really start coming down. Well, I don't think we're going to make this. Look at this descent right though. So here is Ukiah. We'll do an overhead to make sure the runway's clear, and then we'll come back around. But look at that descent rate, 3,000 feet per minute, power to idle. I mean, we're just dropping. You can even go a little bit more. If I were to slip it, it'd be crazy. We're not going to do that. Look at that, 3,500 feet a minute doing 200 knots. If I dropped the gear, it would be scary. If I was flying freight right now, in real life, you probably could drop the gear and make it in. But we're going to do a low pass. We're going to make sure the field is clear, and then we're going to make right traffic for runway... what's this runway number here? Let's hit the B key as well. What runway number is this? Ukiah, I should know. It's not 3, 4? Three three is the runway number. So what I'll do is I'll actually set my OBS needle on 3-3, just as a reference. Ukiah traffic, and flight 357, doing a low pass of 3-3. We're going to make right traffic, full stop, Ukiah. So traffic pattern altitude is going to be about 1,500 feet for us. Let's double check. The field elevation is 605, so 1,000 is 1,600, so we'll call it 1,600 feet field elevation. So we're going right over the top. 3-3 looks clear. It's an uncontrolled airport. Depending on where you were flying and if you had an SOP, you would have to do a low pass to make sure the runway is clear. Ukiah is pretty well maintained though, so it never really had any issues. There's our 1,600 feet. Let's go ahead and level off. As we level off now with our props full forward, the speed's really going to decline, so make sure you're standing by there, Johnny, on the spot with the power levers. Bringing that power back up. We'll fly around about 160 knots or so. Got to wake up the Ukiahs, exactly. There's a sweet donut shop right over here somewhere. We used to walk to it. We'd park and then go walk to it. I say we because there would be two chieftains, or there would be one chieftain, and then there'd be a caravan that would fly in, and we'd all go get donuts. So Ukiah traffic, Gamfly 357, right crosswind 3-3 Ukiah. So in the crosswind turn here, 1,600 feet, 160 knots. We're looking good. This is all default scenery, Listerman, all default. Now I can, flying around props full forward here is not ideal. Matter of fact, at Ameriflight, the procedure was you would actually land with the props. When you were in the 99, you would actually land with them back a little bit, like 1,800 or something. And then at touchdown, your first always went props full forward before you went into reverse because you could damage the linkage. Depending on the operator, well, we went way long here. Depending on the operator, you'd land with props full forward, but I just hate flying around with props full forward. It just sounds, it's so loud. You wake everybody up, it's obnoxious, it's hard on the airplane. There's our first notch of flaps coming into 140 knots now. We are super wide on this pattern. This is a 777 pattern. You can ignore that. We'll go ahead and start the recording. 140 knots on the speed. I climbed up to 1,800 because I flew over the mountains over here like a knob. But there's the airport. We should have been well inside of that. So don't mind that. I'm actually going to come up a little bit higher because we're so far out. You should be able to... This is an example of how not to fly a traffic pattern. Look how far we are from the runway. This should be right about here on the wing. The runway should be right about here. It's barely on the wingtip. And I'm higher than traffic pattern. I'm about 400 feet higher. So not a good pattern at all. Do not recommend using this as a traffic pattern guide. Would you use reverse on a fairly long runway? Duffman, I would always go into idle reverse just because it sounded cool. Very rarely. The PT6, the props were so draggy when you drop them into that idle reverse. You don't need full reverse, really, especially on a long runway. Now, short runway ops, absolutely. If you need it, use it. But very rarely did you ever gas it, you know, once you went into reverse. You would just kind of drop it in. All right, let's go gear down. Let's start the turn in here. Oh, you know what? I had track IR on. I never turned it on. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to make another pattern here. This was terrible. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Since I got track IR on, let's do another pattern. We'll do a proper pattern, because yeah, you could save this, but let's do a proper pattern. It's been a short flight. So let's simulate a go-around. So let's do a go-around, and we'll do a proper pattern. So when you do a go-around, be very careful with the torque levers. You kind of traffic, and fly 357 going around 33. There we go, positive rate, gear up. Oop, flaps first so you don't get that warning. You do flaps first and then go gear up, or else you get that gear warning. We don't need all that power. There's 160. Let's go ahead and bring it back to about 80%. Flaps up. You lose that lift pretty good there when you lose the go flap 0. That's good to see that. And we'll start our crosswind turn. Ukiah traffic and flight 357, turning crosswind 33, Ukiah. Way too fast here. The flight model is still... It's definitely better than the default, I'll tell you that, but it's... I mean, I'm almost knife edging us here to get us around and keep it tight enough. It just, yeah, I don't know. I'm spoiled from the airfoil labs. I'm still a little bit spoiled. All right, let's slow it down. That's the gear warning horn. 160 knots, flaps 1. Still at our pattern altitude, looking good. We'll keep slowing down about 140. Should really be about 120. I need to bind that button. All right, so this is still a little bit far, but it's better than the other one. Richard, what's up, man? Let's go gear down. So that's because the props aren't full forward. That's normal. I'm going to leave the props back on this one. This is how we used to fly it. So we're 600 field elevation, so we're about 700 feet here. We're looking good. Where's that runway at? There she is. Keep it coming around. 120 knots. Don't really want to be below 120 here if you can help it. Actually on base, yeah. What is it, 110? I don't know. I never flew the 350, so. Whoa, this looks much better, though. We'll go ahead and go full flaps. Oh, we're already at full flaps. Gears down. There's a good pattern. 120 knots on speed. Configured. When we touch down, we're going to go props full forward, and then we'll go into reverse. Jeez, floated out, huh? Idle reverse or beta. And we'd always roll it to the end because this is where we parked. I am sitting a little bit low, Meekin. I would like to adjust my view. I'm gonna do some more tweaking with this airplane, and once I can get a hold of Phantom, who's good at actually doing some flight model tweaks, we might tweak this airplane like we did the Caravan, and tweak the flight model a little bit, because it's close. It's not. I keep saying it's close. It's way better than default, but it's still pretty far behind the Airfoil Labs, and that I don't know if that has something to do with the simulator as a platform for GA stuff. But either way, we'll go ahead and pop the window because it sounds cool. Get the ice light off, get the strobes off. We'll kill that. That looks good. We'll go ahead and go environmental off. Actually, both of them, we'll kill them all. And we will park right here on this ramp. Oh, there's that Microsoft glitch. This will be our, I don't know why we have that cable out there. You see that cable out there still? It's kind of weird. We'll spin it around. Drop the right engine into beta. Oh, wow, that was pretty perfect. That was perfect parking job. And brakes are set. Okay, so for shutdown, avionics master off, inverters off, generators off. Everything else looks taxi light off, and make sure your auto ignition is off, or else when you shut down, they will go off. Everything else looks good here, and environmental. Oops, environmental is off. So we're going to go to the cutoff position, and then through a certain RPM, I don't remember what it is. You go prop feather. I think it was like 100. You feather the props. And there we go. So that's what they should look like when we're stopped. You know, they should be feathered. That's a proper propeller position. Proper propeller position. Say that 5 times fast. And kill the master, and battery switch is off. Crash bar down. And ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived into Ukiah Municipal Airport. We'll go grab some donuts at the local donut shop. And then the next leg of the flight would be up to Eureka. But we're not doing 2-legger today. We're just doing 1 leg. I got some oil to change. Time for some donuts. Indeed, indeed. Did you go the college route to become an airline pilot? Ryan Johnson, believe it or not, I didn't. I started in the college route at a flight school. But like any young man, and followed a girl and threw that in the toilet. But then I went my own route of doing it at a local flight school. So Peter Piper had a propeller position. Thanks. This 350 is payware, Igor. This is the Blacksquare mod. Let's take a look at the replay. Let's see how it did here. I don't know. Do we need to start it up again? Let's see. I'm just going to stick it right into replay mode. So we're right into replay mode. That's kind of cool that it works with the replay mode default there. I didn't do any configuration changes. This was our first pattern. I'll put you guys into replay mode as well. Also disconnecting that sim. Coleminator79, what's up, man? Just got your first copy? That's awesome, dude. So, final thoughts. Let's talk about this a little bit here. Is feathering correctly simulated? Chris, so I haven't feathered an engine in flight yet, but as far as the auto feather test, it seems to work. And on shutdown, when you feather the props, they properly feather. The only time it's in a weird position is when you do the initial startup. It seems kind of funky. So, other than that, I mean, it's worlds better than default. I will say that. Again, the final thoughts on this airplane: $40, $30, right around there, depending if you have any points or not. It's way better than default. I'm going to try the FT Sim sound pack. I think they could add, and it's not, they didn't even attempt to do it, so it's no fault to Blacksquare, but I think a high quality sound pack on this airplane will really up the immersion. So I'm gonna try that for the next flight when we do another KingAir flight. I will try that, and then, you know, the flight model. It doesn't seem. It's not bad, but it seems like it's still pretty jumpy. I don't know. It seems very jumpy to me. I think we can fix that with a few flight model tweaks like we did to the Caravan mod. So I'm going to be messing with that. This was our go around here, so let's take a look at this. So we were high, we went gear up, should have gone flaps up first. So first thing you do on a go around that's improper, you want to do flaps first and then gear up so you avoid the gear warning horn. But there we go, we're on the go around. Windows need some bug kills. Yeah. Default glass is with the circles. Oh, is that what that is? Yeah, circles on there. I mean, I don't know. It still looks pretty good, I think. You can't walk behind the. You can't go back here though, can you? No, I can't. I can't go into the cabin. Unfortunately, they locked me out of the cabin, so we only get these views, which is fine. I will check it out front row, Kenny. I'll definitely get the sound pack. Green Bay Packers versus New York Giants was such an epic battle. It was, dude. Were you at the game? Were you the one that posted that you were at the game? It was an incredible game, man, for sure. Any Packers fans in the chat? Because I'm actually a Jets fan too, so we're gonna be Packers Jets this Sunday. It's gonna be an interesting one. Let's get sail going here. We'll take a look at the touchdown. In the pattern here, you can see this was a pretty steep, but. You know, the best thing about flying freight is you don't have any passengers to complain about. These airplanes don't tattle on you. If you wanted to knife edge it, you could. Although it's all about being responsible, right? We'll watch this last touchdown here. Mr. Martino, you're a Packer fan? Oh, boy. Let's go ahead and jump this forward. I think we're going to get absolutely slaughtered, but you never know. All right, so gear was down at some point. Should pop down here. Let's take a look at this landing. MIGs, absolutely. When I get some tweaks, I will post them for you guys. I'm going to try to make it like an actual edit because I don't want to post any files, right? I never want to post any payware files. Our gear not coming down. Let's recycle them. Uh-oh. We got no gear, over. No gear in the second replay. Oh, well. That's pretty much on center line. Yeah. Oh, you were ailerons? You were at the game? That's awesome, man. All right, let's go back here. That's cool that you got to see it. That really cool, man. It was a hell of a game. I was very shocked that the Giants ended up winning that one. But, all right, guys. The magical floating airplane. Exactly. I'm going to leave you guys with a few more floating replays here. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. Have a good weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, we might be back tomorrow. We might be doing some Boeing ops tomorrow. So be sticking around for that. We'll get the Throttletek out. We'll do some 737 updates. The PMDG updated it, so we'll check that out this week. And then if not, I will see you guys on the following week. So take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya.